You put in the work, you spend countless hours exercising, cut back on your favorite foods, and carefully count every calorie that goes into your body. For a while, the weight comes off. But before long, those lost pounds start creeping back, and you're left wondering what went wrong. The truth is, long-term weight loss is far more difficult than most people realize. In fact, the vast majority of diets don't produce lasting results. And it's not because people lack discipline or motivation. The real challenge is that your body is designed to protect itself. As you lose weight, your body begins making adjustments behind the scenes. Your metabolism starts using less energy, and hormones that control hunger become more active. One of the biggest changes is an increase in ghrelin, often called the hunger hormone, which makes you feel hungrier than before. From your body's perspective, weight loss can look like a threat, so it responds by trying to restore the weight you've lost. Your body isn't focused on helping you look better for a vacation or fit into a smaller clothing size. Its primary goal is survival. That's why keeping weight off can feel like an uphill battle even when you're doing everything right. But there's an interesting puzzle that challenges the way many people think about weight management. Take Japan, for example. The country consistently maintains one of the lowest obesity rates in the world, hovering around 4.5%. Compare that to countries like the United States, where obesity rates are dramatically higher, and the difference is striking. What's even more surprising is that Japanese people regularly eat foods many diets warn against. Rice is a daily staple. Noodles are common. Snacks and treats are also part of everyday life. Yet obesity remains remarkably rare. So, what explains this difference? What habits or lifestyle factors are helping them stay lean while enjoying foods that many people assume cause weight gain? The answer isn't genetics. The genetic differences between Japanese and American populations aren't large enough to explain such a massive gap in obesity rates. And it's not because of smoking either. In fact, smoking rates among Japanese men have historically been higher than those seen in many Western countries. That raises an important question. If it isn't genetics and it isn't smoking, what is Japan doing differently? The answer may completely change the way you think about weight loss and long-term health. And it's certainly not because everyone is spending hours lifting weights. In reality, only a small percentage of people in Japan even belong to a gym. So what keeps them naturally lean? The answer isn't about stricter diets or extreme workout plans. It's about creating a lifestyle that makes healthy choices feel effortless. Once you see how it works, you'll understand that lasting health is driven less by willpower and more by the systems and habits built into daily life. Let's look at 9 research-supported habits that help shape the Japanese approach to food and weight management. These simple practices can gradually transform your relationship with eating without forcing you to starve yourself or live at the gym. The first habit is teaching the palate early. In Japan, nutrition education begins at a young age. School lunches are carefully designed by nutrition professionals, prepared fresh, and eaten together as part of the school day. Instead of vending machines and heavily processed snacks, children are regularly exposed to foods like vegetables, rice, seafood, and other whole ingredients. As a result, these flavors become familiar and enjoyable from childhood. They form the standard of what food is supposed to taste like. In contrast, many school meal systems elsewhere rely heavily on processed products designed for convenience and profit. Foods loaded with sugar, salt, and artificial flavors can train the brain to seek out those same tastes again and again. The important takeaway is that your taste preferences aren't fixed. They are learned over time. And just like they were learned, they can be changed. Start small by swapping one processed food each week for a fresh, minimally processed option. Over time, your taste buds begin to adjust, and healthier foods become genuinely satisfying. The second habit is making healthy choices convenient. Japan actually has far more convenience stores per person than many Western countries, but what you'll find inside is very different. Instead of relying primarily on burgers, fries, or oversized fast food meals, many stores offer ready-to-eat options such as grilled fish with rice, tofu dishes, soups, and balanced meal sets at affordable prices. The lesson here is simple. Convenience itself isn't the problem. The issue is what happens to be most convenient. Behavioral scientists call this environmental design. We often believe our decisions come entirely from self-control, but our surroundings heavily influence the choices we make every day. Japan has created an environment where healthier foods are often the easiest option to access. If you want to improve your own eating habits, focus less on resisting temptation and more on redesigning your environment. Make healthy foods visible, accessible, and ready to eat. The third habit is practicing portion control without feeling deprived. Moderation is deeply woven into Japanese food culture. One well known principle encourages people to stop eating when they feel about 80% full rather than completely stuffed. Meals are often served in several smaller dishes instead of one oversized plate. A typical meal may include rice, soup, fish, vegetables, and other side dishes. This creates visual variety and satisfaction while naturally keeping portions reasonable. You rarely see enormous drink sizes or endless refill culture, and that makes a bigger difference than most people realize. Researchers have identified something known as unit bias. People tend to view a serving as complete simply because they've finished what's in front of them. In other words, satisfaction often comes from finishing a portion rather than from accurately judging whether the body truly needs more food. By serving smaller portions and creating meals with variety, it's possible to feel satisfied while consuming fewer calories, all without the sense of restriction that makes many diets fail. That's why smaller portions can be so powerful. When the serving size is reasonable, people naturally consume fewer calories without feeling like they're being deprived. Instead of relying on constant self-control, the environment does much of the work for them. The fourth habit is being mindful of sugar intake. One of the biggest differences between Japan and many Western countries is the amount of sugar people consume. The average Japanese person takes in significantly less sugar each day. Even something as simple as beverage sizes reflects this difference. Soft drinks are often sold in much smaller portions, and desserts tend to focus on quality, presentation, and enjoyment rather than sheer size. The goal isn't to eat more sweets, it's to enjoy them more. Research has shown that when people reduce their sugar intake for a period of time, their sensitivity to sweetness increases. Foods that once seemed normal can suddenly taste overwhelmingly sweet. In other words, your taste buds adapt. A simple place to start is replacing one sugary drink each day with green tea. It contains virtually no calories, may help support metabolism, and can provide a calming effect that many people find beneficial. The fifth habit is creating structure around meals. Many people in Japan follow a fairly predictable eating schedule. Breakfast is eaten in the morning, lunch around midday, and dinner in the early evening. While the exact times vary, meals generally follow a consistent daily rhythm. Your body appreciates consistency. When eating patterns become predictable, hormones involved in hunger and fullness tend to operate more smoothly. This reduces the urge to constantly snack, emotionally eat, or raid the kitchen late at night. When meal timing becomes chaotic, people are more likely to grab whatever food is most convenient, and that's often not the healthiest option. Consistency creates a foundation that makes healthy eating easier. Simply establishing regular meal times can help reduce cravings and make eating feel more controlled. The sixth habit is building movement into everyday life. Another interesting observation is that many Japanese people don't depend on formal workouts to stay active. Instead, movement is woven naturally into daily routines. They walk to stations, cycle to destinations, take stairs, and spend less time sitting whenever possible. Scientists refer to this as non-exercise activity thermogenesis, often shortened to NEAT. These are all the small physical activities performed throughout the day that aren't considered structured exercise but still burn energy. Individually, these movements may seem insignificant. Together, they can have a major impact. The beauty of this approach is that it doesn't require motivation, gym memberships, or intense workout schedules. Movement simply becomes part of normal living. The seventh habit is slowing down while eating. One reason this happens naturally in Japan is the use of chopsticks. Because food is eaten in smaller bites, meals often take longer to finish. This matters because your brain doesn't instantly recognize when you've eaten enough. It takes time for fullness signals to travel and register. When you eat too quickly, it's easy to consume far more food before those signals arrive. You don't need chopsticks to benefit from this principle. Try placing your fork or spoon down between bites. Take a moment to chew thoroughly, enjoy the flavors, and slow the pace of the meal. Many people find they feel satisfied with less food when they simply give their body enough time to catch up. The final habits center around respecting the eating experience itself. In Japan, meals are often treated as an activity worthy of attention. People are less likely to eat while rushing from place to place, staring at screens, or juggling multiple distractions. Eating becomes a dedicated moment rather than something squeezed into the background of a busy day. This simple shift encourages mindfulness, and mindfulness helps people notice important signals that are easy to miss when distracted. Signals like hunger, fullness, satisfaction, and enjoyment. Ultimately, the Japanese approach to staying lean isn't built around a miracle diet, a special supplement, or an extreme fitness routine. It's built around a way of living, a lifestyle rooted in moderation, consistency, movement, and awareness. When you stop battling your body and begin working with it, healthy weight management feels less like a struggle and more like a natural outcome of your daily habits. Now we'd love to hear from you. Which of these Japanese habits do you think would be the easiest to add to your life? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoy learning how everyday habits, culture, and science influence health and behavior, subscribe to Wellness Science Hub for more videos like this.